Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I missed showing this the other day. I forgot to show this, but apparently inflation in the UK, I mean it's like this everywhere, but is at a record high, 9.1%. And I mean this is just getting utterly ridiculous, which is, hey, why my sponsor Glint, look, they're in the UK airports. Think about how effective that piece of advertising is. They're on these huge screens in some of the UK airports. Check this out. That is awesome. That's what I'm doing, folks. In fact, probably either today or next week, I'm gonna add more money to my Glint account. This is my spendable gold. I actually was showing one of my friends my Glint card where I have the spendable gold. It's my debit MasterCard. I'll put the link to this in the top of this description. It's one of the ways that I'm diversifying what I'm doing and protecting myself and my spending power, purchasing power. Now, I thought this was funny. Jeremy Hogan tweeted this out. My friend XRP is going up past 35 cents this week. Me, no way. If it does, I'll jump in the pool in my work clothes. And so he did. And I think that it looks like that is a perfect jump. Look how little splash we have here. So he should get a pretty good rating on that. All right, next, Dark Defender. Hi all. Let's have a quick update on the 4-hour time frame. XRP had an expected breakout. What's next? And he's got apparently he has created a website now. And if you go here, he says he's expecting a retest at 35 cents. I haven't looked at what it is now. XRP is expected to have resistance at 43 cents. So I don't know let's see what he says. Had support 43. Above this 43 cents, we need to stay at least 2 to 3 days to discuss our expected 66 cent move. Uh-oh. Hope he's right. I don't know. And then he said this. Now this is so true. And by the way, folks, you will never, ever, $100 XRP, I have, what do they call them? Shallow bags. I have shallow bags, maybe with a shallow bag, but below $100, the core of what I have, it will never, $100 won't even be, I'm going to be around here. Me and the cockroaches, after a nuclear war, I will be here with my XRP, okay? but he's right. Can you imagine the celebrations at $100? Can you imagine those celebrations? XRP, the most undervalued and the most attacked digital asset on the planet, and it has stayed pretty much at the top of digital assets as it's been attacked from every angle for the last 10 years. You don't attack something that you're not threatened by, folks. It's all been by design. Now, zero hedge, a profit recession is brewing that'll be the worst in 50 years. So because of the interest rates going up, I'm predicting that the real estate market is going to be collapsing any time now. Real estate's going to get its turn. I went through the financial crisis. I know what happens and how this works. Pay attention to real estate. Cindy Young folks, while all the crypto markets are reeling, Ripple's trending. You're seeing Ripple is everywhere. It's almost as if they were waiting for the crypto market to crash and then said, okay, initiate our plan. That's what it feels like. Ripple trending sounds like that might be a good thumbnail. Never know. We'll come up with some. Okay. Cindy Young from Ripple. I speak to a lot of Ripple's clients, partners about what the growth of crypto means for traditional financial services. So it was great to join this banking circle, the payers webinar. I haven't dug into this yet. I just wanted to make you aware of it. Then Monica Long was at NFT New York. Okay. So she did a whole thread write-up on how she was finishing this up and how the NFTs for collectibles kind of, basically what she's saying here from what I understood is that's kind of the entry point. But shoot, NFT, folks, these NFTs on the XRP ledger, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the company that's going to be building things on the XRP ledger, NFTs on the XRP ledger, things such as tokenized art or antique cars, NFTs that are backed by real world assets. That's what's exciting me. I'm waiting for a company like that to come along that I can tell you about. That's what I'm excited about. Now, here's the clip from Brad Garlinghouse when he was in Canada that I wanted to show you. This is from Riz XRP. Listen to this.
Warren Buffett is well known for saying a lot of smart things. One of the ones that I enjoy the most is when everyone is fearful, be greedy. When everyone's greedy, be fearful. And I think what you're clearly seeing happen now, there is a lot of fear in the market. But again, whether you're looking at the people who did and came out looking the best out of the dot-com crash or even the Great Recession in the late aughts, these are people who had the foresight to recognize that some of the pain is short term. I mean, look, John, you and I have known each other a long time. There's a reason I have this gray hair, and it certainly is a benefit at times like this to be able to say, I've seen this before. We are investing. We're continuing to hire at a time when I think there's a lot of fear, a lot of people are pulling back.
Well, let's stay on that theme. Presumably you're looking for some folks with less gray hair as you hire this engineering team in Canada. Tell us a little bit more about what gives you the confidence to build, to hire in Canada at a time when we have heard some headlines from the industry that are more focused on things like layoffs.
Look, I think you described me in your intro as a long-time tech executive, and I try not to take offense to that. But you're right. I've seen some of this, and one of the things that's really changed, I think, is tech talent. Really, there's kind of I don't want to call it monopoly, but a lot of concentration in Silicon Valley, and that is not true today. The tech talent you have here in Toronto is really outstanding. Between Waterloo University, the Toronto Metropolitan University, you have some amazing engineers, some talent that we want to bring into the blockchain and crypto industry. So Ripple announced we're building our first Canadian office here in Toronto with a plan to, as quickly as possible, hire 50 engineers here locally. We're really excited about it, and so far the reception has been really, really strong.
Let me tell you what, it's not a coincidence. Here's what I think, and I just thought about it while he was talking. Ripple, the correct term is, and I think Brad Garlinghouse had a plan to do this. I think that he's been around. Look, the same way that I knew that, as you get older and you get these gray hairs, you get to where you're like, okay, the smart thing to do. And in fact, I was talking to my wife about it last night. I said, this time I prepared. I knew what was coming. I've been around, That's Al Pacino in Sin of a Woman. But I was prepared. I had the cash on the sideline. And I think Brad Garlinghouse did the same thing for his company, Ripple. I think that, and I was saying this a few weeks ago. I can't remember if I said it on the channel or talking to someone, but I was saying it a few weeks ago, and that is, this whole time this SEC lawsuit's been going on, Ripple's been very quiet. But I believe Brad Garlinghouse had a plan on the shelf to activate Ripple when the bloodshed starts. And I think that he prepared for his chance because he knew this would be the power move. This is Ripple. This is your thumbnail. Ripple activated power move. That's what CEO power move. That's what I'm calling this because that's what I think he did. I think Brad Garlinghouse was smart, and I think this is the time that he makes himself into a real legend, not that he wasn't already. And I think that this pullback is what puts him into the history books as one of the greats, even though he was already one of the greats. Okay, John Deaton retweeted this. This is the clip that I had shown earlier, where where Brad Garlinghouse was talking about the 70,000 XRP holders that Gary Gensler is ignoring. John Deaton said, "Think about this. The mission is to protect investors. I don't have 6 investors, not 60, not 600, not 6,000, not just 60,000. He has 68,100. The individual investors have asked to be heard. Gary Gensler has so much contempt for us that he didn't even have a low level assistant respond. Gary Gensler is not a good guy, folks, and I'll drive that point home a little further here in a second. Now, this is from Tim R614. This is Charles Gasparino on the Liz Clayman show, trying to give you a little on the case.
Gary Gensler is releasing the agency's list of rule-making proposals, and he is getting pushback already, including from crypto mom Hester Peirce, who, of course, is a very important person on the SEC. Is she not, Charlie?
She's a Republican commissioner. We should point out that he's getting pushback on all these proposals, but particularly the climate stuff. I mean, how he wants companies to do this enhance. It is getting pushback from Republicans as well. But we should put up first what Hester had to say. Again, an SEC commissioner, Republican. Let's get a full screen of what she had to say. Just put it right up there because it's interesting. The agenda continues to shun issues of core of our mission in favor of shiny objects outside of our jurisdiction. We used to focus on companies' disclosures of economically material information. We now focus on disclosures of hot button matters outside our remit. That's their authority. We once sought to protect retail investors. We now rush to aid professional investors. I mean, that's pretty tough stuff from inside. I've not seen a commissioner come out against a chairman like that. Now, maybe even more problematic for Gary Gensler, if he wants to get this through, is what Senator Pat Toomey, a ranking Republican on the banking committee, had to say. Let's put up what Toomey gave Elliot, my producer, Ms. Terrett. Put it right up there. I'm very concerned that Gary...
All right, I'm not going to play any more of that, but the point is that Hester Peirce she's had enough, okay? James Phelan put this out yesterday, and basically the gist of this is that the SEC is trying to redact everything having to do with this expert guy, the Patrick Doody guy, and they're basically talking about how he's had past harassment and threats. Not from this digital asset investor, and I don't condone any of that kind of talk or behavior, but I believe the SEC is overblowing this just so that they can redact things that they don't want people to see, because they're in the business of hiding everything instead of being truthful and transparent and honest. That's not their game. Honesty's it goes counter to everything the SEC is. So then Brad Garlinghouse had said this: if we lose our lawsuit with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, we will leave the United States entirely. So this is the state of the United States of America. We run off the United States tech, and we welcome on Joseph Lubin and his Switzerland disguised whales that are trying to hide from U.S. regulators. In fact, we've got Vitalik Buterin and him on video saying that they did it intentionally to get around U.S. regulators. But those guys are welcomed with open arms in the United States, and Gary Gensler's fine with them and does nothing and continues to this day to allow them to issue Ethereum 2.0 as a security issuance in progress. They're allowed to do lending, which he says is a security, and he does nothing. And he does nothing because JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs were at Ethereum from the very beginning. And that's why that's where Gary Gensler's bread and butter is. So, but the question here's the elephant in the room question that nobody wants to touch. At what point do we start asking ourselves, is there a contingent in the U.S., because it's not just in crypto, not just SEC versus Ripple. If you really look around, it's all around you. At what point do we start asking the question, is there a contingent in the U.S. government, not any one agency, not any one politician, but a lot of them? What point do we start asking if they don't want the United States to lead in the world in innovation or anything else anymore? Because I'll be straightforward with you. That's what I believe. I believe there's a group of people that do not love this country and do not want this country to do well. That's a tough thing to even say, but I do believe that. All you have to do is look around for a very short period of time. I want all countries to do well. I want all countries. I want the people in Europe to want Europe to be the best. I want the people in Ireland to want Ireland to be the best. I want the people in South Africa to want South Africa to be the best. And guess what? If everybody has that mentality, it's the same thing I've taught my sons about baseball. You want to be the best? Work harder than the other guy. Study harder than the other guy. Do everything harder than the other guy. If he swings at 50 balls, you swing at 100. If everybody took that mentality, whether it's trying to make your country a great country, or making or getting your kid to be able to go to medical school or whatever, if everybody took that mentality, I'm going to be the best, and made up their mind to do so, we would have quite an awesome world. But the problem is you've got all these sickos that are trying to that have all kinds of various agendas that don't have anything to do with making people the best that they can be, or making groups and countries the best they can be. You've got greed that has entered in. You've got really dishonest, nasty people that have come into this equation, and it's so sickening. You got people with self-centered, evil agendas. It makes me want to throw up for my children's future. Now, folks, I wanted to make sure everybody understood this point and understood it well, because a lot of you listening to my voice, we have changed the world, and I think for the better. And you may not realize it, but it's true. Charles Hoskinson, who I consider to be one of the good guys in crypto, this guy has been attacked viciously for years by a lot of the Ethereum people, because remember, he left Ethereum. He's been attacked viciously in the same way that Ripple's been attacked. All these people have tried to paint anything that's not Bitcoin or Ethereum and proof of work as bad, when actually the exact opposite is true. I mean, if you look at the majority of the shadiness that's going on, it's in Bitcoin and proof of work, okay? And that's the fact, Jack. And I said that, we didn't see the tide turn until many of you out there, until we started turning this spotlight. Once the SEC sued Ripple, and we started putting this spotlight on who was behind all this and what they did, all we ever saw in front of Congress was all these bad guys, all the people that were pushing this Bitcoin, Ethereum, proof of work, and all this stuff. Never made any sense to me. And the only way that it made sense was because people were being paid to push this BS narrative that Bitcoin and Ethereum were somehow superior, when the irony was exactly the opposite is true. Cardano will run circles around Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any of that stuff. XRP will, XLM will. But that wasn't the narrative that these pieces of garbage that were doing this, in my opinion, were paid to do. And so they ran this one big bunch of BS. The entire industry is built around the BS lie that somehow Bitcoin and Ethereum are superior in some stupid way than all these others, when the exact opposite is true. And so, but you can see what's happening now. And I'm here to tell you, it happened as a direct result. None of these people were letting the Charles Hoskinsons of the world go up there and speak. And it was a direct result of what you can call it the XRP army, you can call it the XRP community, you call it whatever you want. But it's a direct result, because these people weren't going to do the right thing. It's like they had it engineered for Bitcoin and Ethereum to be the only show in town, and they were happy with it being that way. It wasn't until we started pounding them and pounding Congress with all of those videos of their own arrogant words. It was not until then. It wasn't until John Deaton started getting in their faces, and the XRP army, community, whatever you want to call it, started getting in their face and saying, this is not right. Look at what they did here. Look at the timeline. Look at what they said. It wasn't until then that this started happening, folks. It wasn't going to happen. So pat yourselves on the back, because we're fighting the good fight out here. And all we've ever wanted was a level playing field. I'm going through some things. I wanted to show you this. This is Jeremy Allaire. I told you, it's not just Ripple rising right now. It's Stellar, Circle, I believe Binance, Kraken. These are some of the big boy winners, I believe, that are coming out of this. ice cold euro coin on tap at Circle Forward. So that's apparently their Congress. I mean, their the Circle conference. Finally, I wanted to finish with this. Wasn't Flare Network supposed to make an announcement this week? And Hugo Filion says, and so we shall. Last thing we heard, folks, we were teased that July 4th, they're launching the Flare Network. I hope that's true, because I will be smoking a brisket if that's the case. And by the way, something I haven't been, I can't remember if I told my audience, I've always wanted a pontoon boat. I bought myself a pontoon boat maybe a couple months ago. And I met, I won't say his name yet, but I met a guy when I was at Consensus, and he's in real estate in Arizona. And I'm not going to mention his name until I'm on the pontoon boat, because he said I think I had mentioned the pontoon boat either to him in person or on the channel and here or whatever. But anyway, he said he wanted to be the official sponsor, his real estate firm, the official sponsor of the digital asset investor pontoon boat. And so it is. And so when I get on the pontoon boat, I'm going to tell you who he is. Apparently he's one of the bigger real estate operations in the Scottsdale, my understanding is the Scottsdale, Phoenix area. And just met some real cool people and had some wine with these guys. And so I'm hoping to get on the pontoon boat here in the next week. I hadn't been on the thing in a while, but anyway, I'll let you take a ride on the pontoon boat with me and we'll talk about it. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that we have the official sponsor of the digital asset investor pontoon boat